Quick hitter thoughts. General overview. Daima is decent. It's good. I think it was quite obviously a movie plot that was stretched into a series. Not saying that the original idea was a movie. I'm saying that the plot itself is a movie plot. It's like you can tell it's a movie plot, and it was stretched into a series. I think that hurts it. I don't think it's bad, but it significantly decreases the quality because of the way in which it was told. I think if this is a movie, let's see. I think I actually like this plot a little bit better than Superhero. If this was a movie, I think it would be second. Because I personally think, now this is going to sound crazy to people, but I'm just going to be honest. I personally think the Dragon Ball Super movies are the best movies that Dragon Ball has. I think that Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Superhero are the two best Dragon Ball movies, period. And I think if Daima was a movie, it would be second. I think I would have Broly 1, this 2, and then Superhero 3. I don't know. This could have been one. If it was a movie, it could have been. I don't know if I would have liked it more than Super Broly. I really like Super Broly. But yeah, I think this would have been 2 or 3 best Dragon Ball movies if it was a movie. It's just too long for a series. It's over half of the episodes are literally nothing, guys. They're literally nothing. Like the episode where Goku gets his, like, we go through a stretch where it's like Goku beats the Tamagami. Then it's like they go to the hotel, steal the Dragon Ball, get it back. Episode. Vegeta and them are coming into the demon realm. Half the episode is Goku and them finding out about it and then going to see Vegeta. They go and see them and they say, "Hey, you guys are in the demon realm." And it's like, "Oh yeah, can you guys give us a ride? Our ship is damaged." "Nah, we can't do that, but we'll sure be getting on our way. Hope you guys can catch up soon." It's like, why? Episode, and that was an episode, and it's like, why? And then it's like, these guys come and they steal the ship, and then, Vegeta and them have to go beat the guys up, and while they're dealing with that, Goku and them are dealing with the Kraken, and episode, and it's like, oh my god, dude. Dude, and I'm watching this, binging it, like, it's, so I could not imagine having sat through the last, 4 or 5 months watching this on a weekly basis and sitting here letting these episodes come out one by one, and it's like, yo, this plot is dragging. It was legitimately the one thing I will say. Well, I have a lot to say, but one thing I will say is Dragon Ball Daima, because it is a series. I don't think this is inherent of the plot itself. I think it's because it's a series. It is boring for major stretches where it's like there's not really anything character-wise that goes on. There's nothing plot-wise that goes on. There's just nothing interesting happening. A lot of the interesting quote-unquote plot beats are like lore dumps, but they're not exactly plot relevant. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Fusion said, it's like they're there for people to fill out points on a wiki. And I agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with that. I think a lot of it is world expansion, but the good thing about Battle of Gods was when it came out. Talking about the movie here. When Battle of Gods introduced new things into the lore, they had a character to go along with it. They had personality for their characters. and it had ways in which those characters were going to interact with other cast members. So like take Beerus for example. He's the god of destruction. We get introduced to the god of destruction, their attendants and the angels, and this entire new realm of god hierarchy, right? But it's not just a lore dump. We see like Beerus. First of all, that excites Goku because he has somebody new to fight. It terrifies Vegeta because he understands who Beerus is. It's the same thing with the Kaioshin, in that they are lower gods, so like they're terrified of what Beerus can do at any time he gets mad in terms of destroying the universe. And then you have the denizens of Earth who are treating him like he's just another party guest. And then you have Bulma and Beerus who are treating him like we don't care who this guy is. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't bother us. Like we're still gonna act in our normal ways. It's like an oblivious child and an oblivious, or like like Bulma is the bossy woman and Boo is the oblivious child in this situation. You know what I mean? And there's nothing like that in Daima when they introduce their lore outside of Neva. Like Neva is the most interesting character in Daima because he's the oldest and the ancient and the most legendary character, but his plot points come along with his character. So like him introducing the stuff that he introduced in the beginning of the series is under the pretense that he's senile, and we learn later that he's not, and he's just playing a role, you know what I'm saying, trying to, you know, push the plot along. And he's pushing the plot along, and he's introducing these new bits of lore that are actually, they connect to Piccolo, they connect to Goma, they connect to the Tamagami, they connect to what's going on in the story. So I like his inclusion and the lore that comes along with him. I don't mind the stuff with Supreme Kai. I actually like it in the fact that it twists the Dragon Ball world on its head when you realize the entire god hierarchy in the universe of Dragon Ball is demons. So like demons rule existence in Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go based off like biblical archetype, right? Like you have the heavens, which are there from the beginning, and you have God creating the universe, earth, man, everything on earth, and ruling over them from his position that was always there. And it's the same way with the Dragon Ball world, where it's like the heavenly realm in this case is the demon realm. Like demons are the gods in this case. You know what I mean? Like, and it's this very interesting and I think ironic way of pulling a parallel from real life and just turning it on its head. And I think Toriyama is brilliant at that. So I actually think that while it may not serve a necessary quote unquote purpose to the Dragon Ball world or the Dragon Ball lore or the overall Dragon Ball story, it does in the sense that like it turns it on side of its head for no other reason than that's how Toriyama likes to establish things. He likes to take an idea and put a twist on it that you're really never going to see coming. And I like those parts of it. So I like that part of it with characters like Nahare, Supreme Kai, Neva. I like Goma. I like Goma. I think Goma is a fun Toriyama villain. He reminds me, he's Demon World Pilaf. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the unfortunate part of trying to make Goma Demon World Pilaf, though, was that they felt like they had to give him a character to play off of, kind of how like Pilaf has Shu and Mai. And unfortunately, I don't think that Degasu is much of a character at all. Like, he doesn't need to be there. We already have somebody that's trying to overthrow Goma that's playing under his nose. Like, he's literally just there to be somebody that is like a 1-2 punch comedy relief with Goma. And like, it's not really a complaint. It's just one of those things where it's like, if I have to give a tick of negative criticism, I just wonder why he's there. Like, I know he's there for the comedy part of it, but it's like, we don't see him enough. And outside of like the first episode or two, to where it's just like, why not just have that be a Rinsu? Like, because if you rewrite this story, you can literally just have it so that Arinsu is the one that's going along with Goma's plans, who is his right hand, but she has this entire separate through line going on in the background with Glorio's part and setting up Majin Ku and Majin Du. You know what I mean? Like, you could easily just write it to be that, because it's not like we see Degasu outside of the first episode like that. And the only time that we do see him outside of the first episode is, like I said, little cutaways where Goma is just yelling at him. And so it's like, he's such a nothing character. And that's true of Glorio too. Like, me and my boy Tingen were having this discussion, and we just came at it. We had different views on it. But my whole thing with the Glorio thing was, when he had his betrayal, I didn't buy it because I knew nothing about Glorio. And Tingen was saying, oh, well, you know, he had been shown to be admiring Goku the entire series. So, like, that, it's not that they didn't show us that, you know what I mean? Like, there was some kind of development going on there. And my whole thing was, I just don't buy that. Like, I don't agree with him on that point, because, okay, like, this is what I'm saying. Not attacking his point, or not attacking him, just attacking the point. The reason why I dismiss that is just because it's just like, okay, Goku's strong. Glorio has never seen anybody this strong before, because literally the entire series they're telling us, if Goku was strong enough to beat Majin Buu, there's nobody that can even mess with him at all. Like, it's heavily implied in the beginning of the series that because Bobbity had Majin Buu, he was going to come back to take over the Demon Realm because he had Buu. And there was nobody to challenge Buu. You know what I mean? Like, without the third eye, there was really nobody to challenge Buu at all. So, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, he's never seen anybody that strong. Okay. What did Goku in the cast, he never interacted with them like that. Goku, like, the through line that they had was Goku getting his name wrong and Glorio always correcting him, and then at the end, Goku says his name correct, and he says, man, that's the first time that you said my name right. And it's supposed to be this touching thing, like, oh, look, Goku and Glorio have become friends. And it's like, the reason I don't buy it is because Glorio never interacts with Goku. Like, the only time they really interact is when they fight. And it's just one of those things where Goku just kicks his ass. And then he goes and faces the Tamagami, and Glorio's just like, yeah, there's a really big gap in power here. But there's nothing about him that, like, I can tell that Pansy likes Glorio. I don't know that Glorio likes Pansy because he never really interacts with her like that. Glorio never really interacts with the Supreme Kai like that. Supreme Kai is just always suspicious of him, but it's not like Glorio knows that he's suspicious of him. Glorio never does anything except report back to Arinsu when they're going along with their plan. There's nothing there to make me believe that Glorio even spent any time with the characters to have developed a bond with them. And then at the end, we find out that the entire story plotline took place over the course of a couple of days. And it's not like a couple of days couldn't have been used to be able to grow closer to them. But what I'm saying is him being amazed at Goku's power is not Goku challenging his worldview. It is not Goku becoming close with him, stripping down some of his walls because he's a very silent and out the way character. It's not Goku showing him a side of himself that he didn't know already, or maybe one that he forgot. It's not Goku giving him enough to, like, if I'm supposed to believe that Arinsu did a lot for him, there's nothing that he does over the course of Daima that gets me to believe that he would betray her. But that's another thing. We don't know what Arinsu did for him. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, he was a poor third Demon World kid, and Arinsu gave him a job and is taking care of him. And it's like, okay, I would understand that. I would empathize with that if I saw it. It's like Haku and Zabuza in Naruto. I get to see what took place in the past. I get to see what Haku was going through. I get to see how Zabuza influenced him and saved his life, and why he feels like he owes his life to Zabuza. But I also get to see in that where it's like he is a very kind-hearted kid. So he doesn't let his like allegiance to Zabuza get in the way of protecting Zabuza, but he also doesn't let his allegiance to Zabuza get in the way of him being a kind-hearted kid who's not really gonna kill Naruto or Sasuke. He just doesn't want Zabuza to get hurt. And if that means, if going along with Zabuza's plan means taking them out, then he'll find a way to take them out and be true to himself. Haku is really the first person in Naruto that we see embody Naruto's ninja way, where it's like two things can be true, and I can be loyal to this and I can be loyal to that, and I can find a way for them to coexist in peace. That seems to be like kind of what they're going for with Glorio, but I don't see any of it. I know nothing about his past. I know nothing about him as a character. He's really not a character. He doesn't have a personality besides the fact that he's stoic and mysterious. But he's stoic and mysterious, you would assume, because he's a double agent. Not because that's just who he is, but Daima is trying to get me to believe that he's stoic like that because that is who he is. So why is he like that? It's not just because he's a poor kid from the third demon realm, because we saw a lot of people in the third demon realm. They don't act like Glorio. I don't know why he is the way he is. I don't know what it is about the way he is or about the time that he spent with our heroes that would cause him to have a change of heart. I just know he does it. And that's not good. That's not good writing to me. You didn't make me care about Glorio as a character. You didn't make me care about Degasu as a character. And because you split up Degasu and Arinsu's role, you didn't really make me care about Arinsu as a character. Because her motivation doesn't even make sense. She's a kind-hearted person, but she wants to make the demon realm evil. Six, I don't know if you guys know Six, the YouTuber. He had a live stream about this, and I agree with his point when I saw it. She's not even evil. She's not even evil. Like, she wants to make the demon realm stronger and rival the outside, or rule over the outside world and this and that. And it's like, well, I mean, are most of you guys just not like flat out stronger than pretty much everybody outside of Goku in the outside world, because it's not like we know about. Do they know about Beerus and them? Like, I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe. But I'm just not sure if, like, what is that gonna accomplish? What is that gonna, like, sure, okay, make the demon realm the most powerful that it can be, you know, this, that. But it's just kind of like it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for her character for me. Like, that doesn't match the scheming, the plotting, the, like, there's nothing about her, even what Daima is telling me in the end, that gets me to believe that that's a believable motivation. And even if I boil it down to, I mean, she just wants to be the Demon King, and she wants to, I mean, obviously, if you're the Demon King, you want to make it as strong as possible. So it's not like there's this deep motivation to it. It's just what it is. She just wants to be the ruler of the demon realm. And it's like, okay, I understand that. I'm cool with that. That should be the explanation. And if you're telling me that maybe I'm reading into it too much, and maybe that just is the explanation, and it's like, okay, well, maybe that's the case. Maybe I'm just reading into it. Just from the way that I consumed the series, that was weird to me. So if I am looking at it wrong, I'm looking at it wrong at the time of digestion. Like, when I'm digesting the series, that was just weird to me. Like, her motivation was weird to me. I was just like, okay. And then my second question was, like I said, well, why do we have to have her and Degasu? Didn't understand it. But those are the things I really didn't like. The pacing, I didn't like the story that they were really setting up with the Demon Realm characters. Out of that main cast, for the most part, the characters that I like from the Demon Realm are Ku and Do. I love Majin Ku and Do. I think they're excellent. I think Pansy's good. I saw people comparing Pansy to Bulma. I don't think Pansy is like Bulma at all. I think she's more like GT Pan, but better. Like, I think she was always trying to prove that she was part of the group, and that even though she couldn't fight, she could do something useful. And she was along for the ride and actually did useful things every turn of the way. Like, Pansy was way more helpful than most side characters are throughout adventure stories. Like, Bulma was helpful in the fact that Bulma was helpful to herself in the original Dragon Ball story. Like, the adventure that they went on for the Dragon Balls was really her adventure, and Goku was the sidekick. And that's what made her useful, because she was useful to herself and to the other regular characters like Oolong. But if it just needed to be Goku going on that adventure, Goku didn't really need Bulma for anything besides the Dragon Radar. And you really could have just wrote it that he was going traveling around the world and he would have collected the Dragon Balls eventually anyways. You know what I mean? Pansy in this sense is different from Bulma in that she's not trying to be useful like that. She's being useful where she can be useful. And I like that about her, because there are specific times where it's like something happens that's just believable to happen. Like, it's believable that Degasu captures and uses Dende as a hostage, and Pansy has to come, you know what I mean, and be the reason that Dende gets freed. It's believable that in the middle of all that wreckage, that the Dragon Ball falls into the Kraken's mouth, or like it's still inside the ship in the Kraken's mouth, and Pansy is just the first person, without even having to say anything, just dives in there to go get it. You know what I mean? Like, that's reasonable and it's believable, and you don't have to go out of your way to make anything happen for the sake of her being useful. She just is useful where she needs to be. And I think that Toriyama sets up that whole joke with her bomb failing and her getting pretty much caught by, I can't remember the basically the police force's name. I can't remember their name. But they catch, like, they get through that whole little disguise and her trying to attack them immediately, and it makes it seem like this is a kid who's way in over her head. And then you watch her the entire series and it's like, oh no, she is perfectly useful and a wonderful addition to the cast. Pansy is actually probably my favorite character in this series. I like Pansy. I like the Majin Ku and the Majin Doos. I like Goma fine enough. You know what I mean? I like Goma fine enough. I like Neva. I like most of the third world demon clansmen. I like Pansy's father and his force. I like most of the characters. I think that's what Toriyama and Dragon Ball is excellent at. And most of the characters, really all of the side characters, are very well done. It's just the main characters in this story that I have a bit of an issue with. And I think it's just more so, like I said, because this feels like a movie that was stretched out. Obviously, I have no issue with the Dragon Ball cast. The Dragon Ball cast are perfectly fine in their roles. I love Vegeta and Bulma. I love Vegeta and Goku. I love Piccolo being here. I thought everybody that they chose from the Dragon Ball cast to be here served a purpose. I know people had an issue with Gohan not being here. Gohan adds nothing to this dynamic. He didn't need to be here. Goten and Trunks did not need to be here. Krillin did not need to be here. Nobody else needed to be here except the people that were here. They were the only ones with ties to this story. They were the only ones with good character dynamics within the group itself. And everybody had something to contribute to this. And so I thought that in comparison to GT, their selection of characters and their usage of characters was excellent. Like I said, love the side characters, like some of the lore stuff. Not necessarily that the parts that I don't like, it's not the ideas, it's just their execution. And again, gonna say it for like the 15th time in this video, I think it's just because it's stretched out. There are just lots of downtime, lots of pointless episodes. I feel like it would have been a bit stretched out even if they cut it in half and just, well, a little over half and just made it a 12 episode anime. But I think it would have been paced even better. You know what I mean? Like I said, I feel like it still would have been feeling like a movie plot that was stretched out, but it would have been a lot more digestible if it was just 12 episodes. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Overall thoughts, I mean, it's more of an arc than it is a series. If I was ranking it as an arc in comparison to like GT and Super, I think it's better than GT's arcs, all of them. I think that it's better than the Battle of Gods and the Resurrection F arc in Super. I think it's better than the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament. But where you lose me is like Future Trunks arc Tournament of Power. Now, to me, I don't like the Tournament of Power that much, so I rank it above the Tournament of Power. But would I say it's better than the Future Trunks arc? I don't think so. And that arc has major problems, but as an arc as a whole, I think it's actually a pretty decent arc in Super. It's Super's best arc for sure. But I don't think so. I don't think it quite measures up to the Future Trunks arc. And I definitely don't think it matches up to anything in like the original Dragon Ball series. So it's good. I think the conversation around it was a bit overdone with people saying do Dragon Ball fans even like the series? Because I mean, you could easily not like Daima. It was, for a large chunk of it, like half of it was very boring. It was very boring. While the side characters are excellent, the main cast kind of not so much. But I think what I'm gonna do is talk about that discussion in another video, because I'll get there. But that's my review of the series. Very well done music, very well done side characters, main characters not so much. Stretched out plot made it a bit boring. I don't know. I saw people not like the ending. I like the ending. Obviously love Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Dope. Hopefully Vegeta gets Super Saiyan 4 in the future. But if he doesn't, at least we got Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Love that. I don't really have a problem with the fusion bugs not being used. I know people had a problem with that, but I think that's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think it's a Chekhov's gun situation. I just think it's one of those things where it's like, because we've seen fusion in the past, they brought it up, and it's one of those things that could be used, but it just never had the chance to be, you know? And it's one of those things that's like there in the future, and it's like a lore. That's nothing more than like another lore, a piece of lore, that the Demon Realm has fusion bugs. You know what I mean? Like, them not using it is not an issue to me. I didn't find really anything about the ending to be an issue. I actually like the ending. I think it's fine. Yeah, that's Daima for me. It's a mixed bag. It's okay. It's fine. Saw people say disappointing. Couldn't have disappointed me because I didn't come into it with any expectations. It was fine. Thank you, Toriyama, for giving us one last thing before you pass. And I like to see you finally exploring the demon world, giving us some more Dragon Ball lore ideas, following through on ideas that it seems like you've had for a very long time. And with this basically being his version of GT and bringing Super Saiyan 4 into it, Toriyama has pretty much reclaimed everything in the Dragon Ball franchise. He reclaimed Bardock, he reclaimed Broly, he reclaimed the Demon Realm stuff and Super Saiyan 4. I mean, he reclaimed GT. It's, you know, he's taken the ideas that outside Dragon Ball writers have used, and he's just made them his own. And I think that's dope. I think it's fine. You know, I think it's fine. I have no problem with it. I think it does it well done, and nobody writes it like Toriyama, dog. Like, even when it has problems, it's still more fun and it's still more well done than most things that other people that put their hands on the Dragon Ball franchise can come up with. It's still better done than most other people that even try their hands at doing anything Dragon Ball. So I have to tip my cap to Toriyama. He with all the problems that I may have had, it was fun. It was a fun little adventure. If it was a movie, I would rewatch it. I don't see myself going back to it anytime soon just because it just drags. But yeah, it was fun. I don't really have a numerical ranking. I just have thoughts and opinions. So thank y'all for watching, man. 35-minute yap session. I will be back with the comparison to OG Dragon Ball that I see the community having. So I'll see you guys then. Peace.